Good afternoon. This is September the 20th. It's Friday, and it's just a few seconds past 7 o'clock. And you are ready and prepared for the Friday night broadcast of Ask Welfare Rights. This is World Climate Action Day. And so I put on my World Water Day shirt to commemorate this. And Marion, across the world, people were walking out of jobs, students were walking out of school. It was a ton of people in this country, and Japanese students and Chinese students, and I saw Argentinian students. Everybody was out talking about why we need to focus on climate. So, Marion, we're here at the radio station, the weekly broadcast of Ask Welfare Rights. So why don't you go ahead and give us an official welcome?
Well, welcome, Maureen.
Thank you.
and welcome, Junior.
And move on.
Again, we're always happy to be here and have the opportunity to be here. And I want to remind you, you're listening to WHPR, and that the telephone numbers are listed below there that match these numbers: 868-0342, 868-0351, and 868-4336. Should you have a website, a computer, and you can go to the website to participate, and that's www.tv33 WHPR.com. So let's go. I'm ready to move.
All right. Couple of things happened this week. The UAW members across the country been out on strike. I think today is number 5. And just before I left the house, I heard that again in Arlington, Texas, that's apparently the largest General Motors factory in the country. 4,000 workers there. I didn't know that.
I didn't either. I remember when they were negotiating and stuff like that. But I didn't know.
I know it was that many and that big.
Texas is big.
Yeah, well, yeah, they got a lot of small thinkers there.
Yes.
But apparently there was a security guard, the way the story was relayed to me, and when the stories first come out, they'd be wrong. But there was a security guard who approached the picket line and said, well, I support you all, but I'm security, so I have to go in. He didn't have to go in. But, he was told that that's what, that he needed to come on in and that he wasn't a part of this. So an argument ensued. He went back, got in his car, and inched toward the line. And when the workers surrounded him, it's somewhere in front of his car, and he moved up a little bit, and people started to get out of the way. And when the last person moved, he floored it and went on in. And, of course, by then the police had been called, and people were being arrested, and I guess they arrested the security guard, too,
They arrested the security?
Well, that's the first part of the story, so I don't know what happened. But, when you're involved with a strike, Marion, and you should comment on this, and other people, the ice cream vendor come by, and he want to go in and sell ice cream to people. Nobody breaks the picket line, whether you work there or not.
Maureen, you're so right.
So comment on that.
You're so right. Not only do you not break that picket line, you have to understand those workers are out there. But whatever they win will affect us and lay the foundation for a better world for us, at the time. And when people understand the solidarity that we could form around this, just like they do in Canada, the workers go out to strike the UAW, and you look around, they much more educated look like than some of our workers here as to how we supposed to stick together. The barber shop closes up. The
dry cleaners around,
everything around there to support those workers, and make sure. And it's our duties to make sure those workers and their family have some food on the table. And then the last time we did that in big, at the American Motors,
American Axle.
Axle. They were so appreciative of what Welfare Rights was doing out there. Every Monday, consistently, that's the day that we picked, we would take over their chicken and bread and hot sauce and different other stuff. Let them know that we not only support you in what you're doing, but we're not going to let you get hungry while you out here. And that should be they're on strike, we're on strike.
And let me
And
just...
you need to know that if you have to even, take a chance to go in there and help them to be on strike, and what we need to be doing is probably doing some leaflets to inform the community why we are around there at those places, to be able to be a part of this. This is for all of us, not just for not just for the union members.
Well, see, I wanted you to make those statements because, see, I hold the union responsible for some of what's going on here.
Oh, yeah.
The union's job was to talk about while General Motors is in negotiations with UAW, there's a couple of things that should be standard. And one is, yes, there's some corruption. There's some malfeasance that had gone on. It's still going on. All UAW top leaders, international leaders, are not crooks. But that's not the issue. When we're talking about negotiating a contract, like you said, Marion, that's going to benefit a lot of people for a lot of years to come, we have to be involved with solidarity. And the union did not prepare these workers the way they should have been preparing these workers, and the way they used to. So, the times that we've been out hit us last time. I don't know, maybe by the time I get there, it's too late. I haven't seen any leaflets. I haven't seen any paperwork where people are standing and passing around leaflets and whatnot to explain further what's going on. And I see that's a fault of the UAW that forgot that this question of solidarity don't have anything to do with rat bastards that might be doing the wrong thing. And, we're going to get them and make them turn that money back in and cut off their benefits and all of that. But that ain't got nothing to do with what's going on right here.
The UAW need to be putting out a leaflet. Why did all of a sudden the FBI make a run on them down? That was to be able to control the rest of the people's minds out here and divide folks. Right there, you could have taken them at any time. But no, you waited until it was time for negotiate and to make sure a corporation that have stolen money from us, they stole that money because they didn't. That in actuality, Maureen,
those concessions.
We owned at that time the industry.
Yeah.
And people act like they ain't got no backbone. You take a stand and say, I'm standing out here not only for the brothers and sisters on these lines, but for our community also. And we have to stand arm in arm and let GM know you might be the person that have the jobs, but we're the people that do the building.
Well, you raised this question about a backbone. Don't have an understanding. Don't have an historical analysis. Don't understand what this is. But let me just say this to you. I did the figures, and I took them to some of the students at my school because they asked me, well, what's going on here, Miss Taylor? Tell me about this. And I explained, General Motors says that they earned $8.2 billion in profits. That's what they said. They probably earned more. But, take them at their word, $8.2 billion with a B. Well, Marion, if you put in a great big old potato sack, you put $1 million in numerous denominations. So you put $1 million in that sack and tie it up and put it over in the corner. What you'd have to do is fill up 8,200 potato sacks with $1 million in each one to equal what General Motors was able to make in 1 year.
Well,
see, they not hurting, and all this conversation, they're losing $50 million a day. They're not losing a dime. They've got stockpile parts,
Hey.
stockpile cars. They knew this was coming. They're not losing a thing except when they told the workers, well, you know, here we got a little something for you. We not taking care of your Blue Cross Blue Shield or
Isn't that
whatever that is you had going. We gonna you have to pay your own stuff now and go to your union. And from here on out, your union has to pay for your health care benefits. But we negotiating
Now,
in
Maureen,
good faith.
You know, if that was, you know, as much as we love those brothers and sisters, you know, if that was you and I and Welfare Rights out on it, or the brothers and sisters that stood firm with us in the Poor People's Campaign, no, we wouldn't be quiet.
No, we have a leaflet.
We have not only a leaflet.
We be stopping traffic and giving everybody an education.
and
Guess
trying to
what's
get
going on here?
And that's what we're going to have to help these brothers and sisters to understand and to be out there screaming and hollering. I used to be out there late at night
I know.
on those picket lines with the UAW.
So that they could take a rest and we take over their walking duties for
Yeah.
them. You know, but you know, it's just different. And
Reach
people,
out. You need to go to
people
these
don't
churches.
understand it.
You need to go to stop
Oh.
the line that's going on.
Was-
In other words, stop the news medias from saying, you know, this ain't right and all that. Show them how
Yeah,
right
they
it
do. They
is.
wanna do.
Go to the churches.
Churches
And
are being asked to come out this
The
Sunday.
okay, good. Go and make sure they turn their congregation out to be able to understand that we don't have to take this sitting down. GM can't do nothing. Look at here, Maureen. Can't do nothing without those workers. The machine, like one guy said out there, the machine has already taken our jobs, but those machines
Technology.
cannot buy the product.
There it is.
Cannot
So
buy the
I
product.
heard that on my way out the door today that at noon, at 12 o'clock noon this Sunday, that's 2 days from now, churches and community people are being asked to come out at 12 o'clock.
On Sunday?
And this Sunday coming up, and to go to whatever General Motors location you want on Mound Road, Hamtramck, whichever one is closest to you.
Romulus.
And bring your family out.
That's
so
right.
that we can stand in solidarity. And you know, I hope by the next Sunday, I hope that the strike is over and that people have gotten what they think they needed. But along the way, AFL-CIO, I guess the UAW is already affiliated with that, but AFSCME and state workers and county workers,
out on the
all of them
line.
need to be out there on the line supporting this. Now, Squeaky used to tell me about this, and I heard it the other day. She told me at one time that General Motors, a blue-collar worker, was the highest paid salaried blue-collar worker in the world. And I heard a guy say it the other day,
Yeah.
that even today, the GM worker
Get
is
more.
the most highly paid blue-collar worker ever.
Mm-hmm.
Junior, I didn't notice, but there's no phone out here. I was just getting ready to say something about that. But that they're the highest paid worker, and that even today we was engaged and involved, and I didn't even notice that, you know. But that because that these workers are the best. Thank you, sir. Yeah, everything lit up now. It's good. It's good. So, and because the General Motors workers are the most highest paid, then that was supposed to mean something. The average worker makes $90,000 a year, and their eyes were going up. Mary Barra,
Let's talk about her.
Berra,
Yeah.
with her diamond stud earrings.
You notice?
She made $22 million in 1 year.
And she hasn't
You know?
produced nothing.
You know?
Nothing,
Well,
Maureen.
she produced lies. She
That's
produced
about it.
handshakes, and
That's
I want to
all.
work with you.
I mean, you know,
Yeah, all this kind of stuff, you know?
the workers ought to be calling for her to be fired.
Well,
you
they're
know?
not going to do it. They're not going to do it.
Well,
we
we
living
can
in
tell
a
'em.
different
We can
era
tell
now.
'em.
You know, caller, so sorry. We didn't even notice that the phones weren't out here, and thank you for waiting, and thank you for calling Ask Welfare Rights. You are on the air.
Once again, the masses got a lot on their plate, and we got to get it straight. I heard or I read somewhere where GM cut their health care plan,
Yes, they did.
and you do not cross picket lines, because to cross those picket lines, you're crossing yourself.
You crossing
You
your
crossing
family.
your
That's
line.
right.
Yeah.
Right, you're
You
right.
talk to yourself.
All right.
I also want to bring up about the facial recognition, if you allow me to,
Go
because
ahead.
they said they
The
did
facial
vote
recognition technology.
to push the face to push the facial recognition policy through.
3 to
Now
7.
we already know that that's nothing but somebody getting a big contract
Oh
to watch
yeah.
the sheep, and they watching you like property and sheep for more fines, fees, and bodies. But I think the whole city needs to go on some kind of protest. I suggest face painting, Muslim wear, surgical mask, Mardi Gras mask. Hey, you can even probably wear a KK hooded mask. And let's start our own policy. Since they got a policy where they want to misidentify you, well then there it is. Whoop! Everybody get into whatever disguise they feel like who they want to be today
I
or the next
understand.
day. Yeah, because this is one big mess.
Well,
Also, there's a health fair tomorrow for just the men. There's a health fair at Ford Field. I believe it's at 10. It probably started at 9 or 10. Here it
okay.
is. Men's health event. And so they're going to feed them and give them all these free screenings. And, yeah, it's going to be
Ford
at
Field,
the
right?
it's gonna be at Ford Field. It starts at 9 a.m. to 3.
Okay.
Okay, I'll call you back if I got any more things to share.
And thank you
Thank
so
you.
very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right. Caller, you've been so patient. Thank you for waiting. And thank you for calling Ask Welfare Rights. You're on the air.
You're welcome. Thank you. And happy Friday to you all.
And
Yeah,
happy Friday to you,
you
Miss
too.
Theo.
Thanks. I wanted to call in and share that I had attended the police commission meeting on yesterday. And I wanted to let them know, and did, that Hood Research is not in favor,
With the police commissioners.
yeah,
go ahead.
not in favor of what they're calling facial recognition. Now,
Okay.
the issue sounds
I
clearer.
think, what was the vote? Three,
3.
against
3 to
and
8.
7-4.
What
It's
happened to the
11
majority
members.
wins, Maureen?
No,
7
the majority
elected
did
and
win.
4,
7 were for
7
it.
and
Oh, okay.
4 appointed by the
Yeah,
mayor.
they did say that.
It's 11 total, 1 for each district, and then his 4 appointees. There are
Oh,
3
they
people
already
that
had
voted
that
against
stack.
it. Everybody else voted for it.
Well-
And their recommendation has to go to the Detroit City Council. And the city council would say yea or nay whether they support it. So I encourage everybody to call the city council members to let them know that it's not a good idea. It's only 30% accurate. They can't even wait for it to become more efficient.
Yeah.
It's another way of putting people in prison. You know, they got to fill those beds. So that's one way of doing it. Another way to gentrify the folks in the city of Detroit. And another way to not hire police officers. They will claim they got the technology in the traffic lights, et cetera, the intersections, and you'll be safer. Well, how are you safer? They got cameras all over downtown. People are still getting beat up. Matter of fact, one gentleman got beat up last night.
You
What
know,
did the cameras do?
Miss
It
Theo,
appears that they're not being monitored.
I have a fear about this particular technology, and I wonder, I think what Marion said is correct and what you suspect, and that is this seems like a contractual arrangement that's not ready to be launched yet, and you just wonder, especially based off of what you just said. We got cameras all over the place now. Every day when I wake up and put on local TV, this one got shot. Got a picture of it. This one broke into broad daylight. That's the one I thought was exciting. Went into a in broad daylight, went in the store, took the rope and tied it around the ATM machine. Everybody in the store looking at it, got back in the car, snatched it out.
Oh, my.
We have cameras everywhere, and we don't seem to see the rate of street crime going down.
It's going
You
up.
know, seems like it's going up. So this particular activity, and I hear you mention people are going end up being in jail. Don't seem like they have any problem putting people in jail. Don't seem like there's an issue, but this looks like an economic
Yes, it
agenda.
is.
And then I'll say this last thing, and I'll ask you to comment, Ms. Theo. There was such an uproar. People calling, writing letters, having a fit about Greyhound threatening to be moved by MDOT. Such an uproar that MDOT has said, well, wait just a minute. We didn't expect all of this pushback. So we're going to alter our plans. We're going to keep Greyhound where it is for the time being. We're going to launch some satellite Greyhound areas, and we'll get back to this. So if we're going to call and demand and say we don't want these things, and it doesn't seem to matter what we say, all right, and we should call council and all of that, and just be aware of what happens when the residents complain and say, we don't want this, and let's look and see if we get it anyway. Go ahead, Ms. Theo.
Right. Well, I do think that by coming and letting the council know what we don't want is to impress upon them the importance of them voting on behalf of the members of this community. And
I agree.
also,
We all agree on that, Miss Theodore.
right.
Theo, let me
Call her
Theodore.
Theodore.
And to let people be aware of what goes on downtown. That's one good example. They got cameras everywhere, and crime still takes place.
Yes, ma'am. Well, all we can do is continue to follow this information and see what we need to do. But you already know, Theo, what we're lacking is organization.
Yeah.
Because we're not organized and into a league, into a group of organizations that own power and believe we own power. Because we're not organized, it's just so difficult to get anybody to pay attention to what we say.
And that even goes as far as this whole water situation out here.
Right.
You know, the water is not getting any better.
And you had 15,000 people here.
Look, it's
You
not.
brought 15,000, and it was just ignored, it seems.
Oh yeah, they did because they don't think that they need us no more. And they don't if they work within the confound of just their computers and robots and stuff like that. I maintain that the workers got to wake up. Here's a time for you to wake up.
Still sleeping. All right, Theo, finish your thoughts out, and we're going to follow your lead here.
All righty. Well, thank you. One, tune in on Mondays right at WHPR, 9 o'clock in the morning, so that we can have an exchange again and encourage people to fight against this.
Thank you, Miss
Thank
Theo.
you.
Always out front, okay?
All right. Peace.
And thank you, ma'am. All righty. Caller, you've been so patient. You're on the line. Thank you for calling Ask Welfare Rights.
Is that me?
Yes, you're on the air.
Okay, thank you for taking my call. Ladies, I enjoy your program, and I agree with you wholeheartedly that UAW did not prepare their workers for what's happening now. I came in the plant when Drum was active.
Okay.
And it's a shame that we don't have any of those activists to help these young workers understand what the real problem is.
We're there. We're there.
She talking about in the plant.
I know we are not there in the plants, but we will open up the church or open up the institute at any time to teach those young people how they're supposed to deal with this situation.
A caller, you
understand.
ever been down to Black Men in Union? The
No.
classes? Okay, but go ahead. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Back in the day,
Yeah.
we had to go to Wayne State and take classes.
Yeah.
But my question is, and I'll hang up and listen to your response. I'd like to know whatever happened to that brother Hodo, Ron Marsh, and Coleman Young II. And thank you for taking my call.
All right. Thank you very much, caller. All right. Caller, you've been very patient. Thank you for waiting, and thank you for calling Ask Welfare Rights.
Good evening. This is Tawana Morris.
And yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
I've been out on the picket line with you guys, and it's heartbreaking because I'm retired from the Detroit Police Department, and when they just cut us off suddenly, our insurance, our families were affected, and I've seen young people that had mental illness, had physical disabilities out on that line when we were out there.
Yes.
And it's just heartfelt. And it's deja vu. And anybody that's passionate with a union, that belong to a union,
yes,
you need to be out on that line.
Yes.
I'm retired. I know my fellow police officers couldn't do it because they were working. I was out there to represent, and I'll continue to do that.
And you did a good job.
That's the only way that we can overcome. And people remember, machines cannot buy product.
Yes, yes, and you're more than retired. You have fighting some disabilities too,
yes,
and you still was out there on that line.
That's right.
Yes, I'm ride and die. That's what we do.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Well,
So
you did a fantastic job.
Yeah, and today was World Climate Action Day, and I know that the students at my school, they just don't gravitate toward an understanding of world events. But I didn't want to miss this, so Mr. Eddie, who's one of the founders of my school, and we went out on Burt Road today, the two of us. And we stayed out there for about 15, 20 minutes, waving at cars and explaining that this was World Climate Action Day, and there was nothing but high fives and waves and car horns being honked to say right on. So, Ms. Tawana, your point is so well taken. You know, it looks like oftentimes it's not a lot of us, but what's the statement? When two or three are gathered in the name,
yes,
that's enough. So we're going to have to carry this ball a little bit farther until somebody else wakes up and says, oh, I understand what you're talking about. Let me help.
I stand together, united.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Appreciate it.
always good to be out there with you,
All right,
Tawana.
bye now.
All right, bye-bye.
Right.
All right, so, Marianne,
Somebody
the
on
other...
the phone?
No. Okay. The other young lady that called and agreed with what we were saying, how the union did not properly prepare its members. But I know that, and I don't know, I heard this yesterday morning, I think, that after the contract with General Motors is settled, the next group is going to be Chrysler.
Ford and Chrysler.
You know, well, no, Chrysler first. And then the Ford workers, you remember when we were there for the presidential campaign, they already getting their picket signs ready.
Yeah.
And we all the folks over there, you know, we better start getting our leg wraps.
That's right.
And our back braces and everything ready, because when Ford go out, we going with them.
Yeah, we're going to be pushing them all the way, just like we still.
We going right with them.
And we're going to make sure, Maureen, look, and I know we be tired. I would love to stay home just to get this cold out of me. But at the same time, as I lay there, I be thinking about those workers. I be thinking about the children out here.
And think about this economy crashing.
And we're the one that are taking the fall.
We're going to suffer.
We're the one, and you that are looking are going to be suffering also, because they don't care about poor people, and this whole thing of middle class. That's the biggest joke going. You know, you better get off your hindsight. And you know, I done been out there on a walker. You have been out there with your leg wrapped up. And the workers the other day, they brought their kids.
Yeah.
They out there. This is a matter of all of us hanging together and letting these corporations tell them, no, you ain't getting away with nothing no more.
I mean,
you have health care. We're going to have the same kind of health care that you have, and it's going to come out of the profits of GM.
I mean, we talking about one person making $22 million.
And that's
she
criminal.
earns 280 times more than the average General Motors worker.
In fact,
See,
I always believe that
that's just too much.
the head of some of these unions, or the head, even the minister and stuff like that, they should not be having, I mean, earning more than the congregation, earning more than the worker on the assembly line and what have you. You can't talk about how you gonna represent me and don't know what it feels like to be on $250
$250.
a
Yeah, they
week.
got their
Now,
last
how
full
you
check
gonna
today.
tell me how it feels?
Well, they got their last full check today.
I know.
And starting tomorrow is $250, and then some of that might have to go down a little bit lower because there's some taxes got to come out of
Yes,
$250.
yes.
See, government-backed abuse.
That's
you
what
know,
it
you
is.
know, the government-backed abuse of workers.
That's right.
But it's been 5 days, and all of the headlines now. The Republican Party is calling for an investigation on a union malfeasance.
Oh, come on
See,
here.
and this
they
is
some of the ones that was involved in
You
it,
know?
probably,
No, I don't believe that. I
I
believe
do.
they've been stealing their own money.
Yes, what I'm saying.
Been stealing their own money. But it's just something to see the fifth day, and again, this in Arlington, Texas. All of this here thing is going on, and that one worker just confused. I'm a security guard. No, you a worker.
And
Just
you have
working
to,
as a
you have
security
to,
guard.
you have to explain to him why you out there. And
He didn't
sooner
get
or
it.
later, he'll get it. Because
didn't
they
get it.
didn't get it overnight neither. But, it's our duties, again,
Well,
to be out there, if you're bringing some water. I mean, I'm not talking about the water in all the plastic containers and stuff like that. Nothing from
only can you
Nestle.
bring.
Nothing from Nestle and what have you. But go out there and at least walk around with them some, and hug them and tell them, say, I'm proud of you.
and we're going to stand with you.
That's right.
All right, we got, let me read this. So many people are not able to get to health care the way they want to. And so here is State Representative Sherry Gay Dagno. She's got a list of activities that'll be happening Monday, September, that's this Monday coming up, from 5 to 7 at 16164 Asbury Park. But she has
And what
also,
time?
it's from 5 until 7, and she has also arranged for a number of health screenings to go on. It's a very long list, but people should call State Rep Sherry at her office number. Call her and get the dates ready so that you can get over there and get some free health care. Call her. You've been very patient. Thank you for waiting, and thank you for calling Ask Welfare Rights. You are on the air.
Good evening. How are you doing?
And good evening,
Good
sir.
evening.
Real good. First of all, we want to congratulate, if we haven't done it already, to that Detroit Youth Choir.
Detroit Youth Choir, yes.
Oh, my
Second
God,
place.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah, they did a good job.
Fantastic, weren't they?
Oh, they was more than fantastic.
All right.
And I'm looking forward to them doing more. But then I want to also don't forget about Greyhound that's closing up, and moving wherever they're moving. I hope they stay to Detroit.
Well, Greyhound, they changed that. I don't know if you heard that or not. There
No, I
was
haven't.
such an outpouring, such resistance, so much pushback from residents all around calling and complaining to Greyhound and the MDOT. Then MDOT has come out and said, okay, we didn't expect this, kind of a backlash. And what we're going to do is keep Greyhound where it is and open up maybe a couple of satellite places, but we are not going to close and not going to move Greyhound from where it is right now at its current location.
Just
Well,
that
that's
little
good.
small move by people calling in and letting them know what
Right, that's
what
right.
happened. Everybody
Made 'em
should be
change their
doing.
mind, yeah.
Yes.
That's what you have to do in order to get something done. Get on the top people, call and complain, and that's where you get stuff done.
The squeaky wheel gets the oil.
Yeah, I'm glad that they stand there. But again, we got to congratulate the Detroit Youth Choir for fantastic and more than fantastic.
Listen, I just
Thank you.
heard that the Detroit Youth Choir is going to open up the Thanksgiving Day parade.
Yes. Yeah, they
Oh, really?
announced
That
it
would be real
That's
yesterday.
good.
fabulous. Yeah, they're going to be the first ones. You know, how wonderful.
Usually I don't go out in the cold to look at it. I'll be looking at TV, but I think I'm going to make my way down there. To
Just
see
get
it.
you a look here. All you got to have on is a couple of 2 pairs of long johns, and you'll be all right.
Oh,
Have a coat on and
I ain't gonna put
everything.
on all that. It take me 20 years to get dressed as it is.
take me 20,
20
years.
years, my goodness.
Or you could go over to the Hannon house, and I think they still do it. You
I
go
don't
over
know.
to the Hannon house, call over there, and they used
Mm-hmm.
to allow people to go up on the second or third floor on the balcony and watch the parade down Woodward Avenue. Now, I don't know anymore because, you know, we
Yeah.
haven't been there in a while. But
Either way, I plan on getting there, because I'm in the Wayne State area. I'm not far from it.
all
I'm
righty.
going to go there to see them. Okay, then. That's
All right.
I
Thank
called
you,
about.
caller.
And
All right.
I'm
The
glad
young
I
lady.
understand. Thank
And I hear you. Congratulations, Detroit Youth Choir. A young lady asked about some folks, and she was asking about Hodo, and I'm not sure what happened to
Oh,
Hodo.
Hodo.
Talking about Wilbur Hodo.
Yes.
And so I know he was a fixture at this station
Yes,
for a number of years,
yeah.
but
Uh-huh.
he probably retired and went off to go do some other things in broadcasting.
He's a talented young
yeah,
man.
he always has been. And she asked about Coleman Young, and I'm not sure.
I didn't know
I didn't know that his broadcast was not on, but it's just difficult with Comcast and the fight that we're having with them. As far as I know, Coleman is still around and being very active and whatnot. And I forgot who's the other person she asked.
I only
I
heard
forgot
those
now.
two.
No, she asked for 3 people. I forgot who the other one was.
Oh, you forgot?
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I got a lot of things on my mind.
Wait a minute. No,
Lots of things on my mind.
No. You the one that
Don't be
forget.
trying to even
You're
go
the
there
one
here.
that don't forget.
No, well, very rarely.
Evidence right here.
Very rarely. All right, and here's a piece I got from Rashida. Maureen, this week I brought Congress to Michigan's 13th district for a field hearing on air and water quality. Residents in Wayne County and across my district, her district,
That's
have
my
felt
district.
unseen and doubted for so long despite experiencing unbearable odors, headaches, nosebleeds. So this time we brought Congress to the people. Members of the House Oversight Committee and Environmental Subcommittee went on what's called a toxic tour of the state's most polluted zip code, and that's 48217 over there by Marathon, and then heard from a panel of community members, experts, and advocates. The 8,000 people, caller, hold on just a moment. The 8,000 people in 48217 zip code live in the shadow of Michigan's only oil refinery, auto, and steel industry plants, and other major corporate polluters. In total, there are 52 heavy industrial sites within just a 3-square-mile area.
And will kill you.
And putting out dozens of toxic chemicals. That means that children all in that area have elevated blood levels. Infant mortality is twice the rate of the rest of the state of Michigan.
Over in that area, Maureen, those young kids been living under that for a long time, and the government knows it.
Everybody knows.
They know it.
And so many residents suffer from health problems like asthma and cancer, which also leads to lower life expectancy. We'll take this call and, oh, Lord, I don't know what else we can do. Caller, you've been patient. Thank you for waiting, and thank you for calling Ask Welfare Rights.
Oh, the lady was asking about Ryan March. Ryan
March.
Ryan March. He has his own show. You can just YouTube Ryan March or RyanMarch.com, but he's online because it's more affordable for him to do it that way.
Okay.
But the environmental justices, y'all talking about facial recognition, y'all take y'all cameras and facial recognize all this pollution that you're putting in the air and killing people on the daily. Also, the oil tanks or something, there was an explosion in the other country. Well, now they're ready to go to war over this tank explosion. but they don't want to go to war
Darn Saudi
when they
Arabia.
killing those innocent children.
Well, Carla, let me ask you a quick question. You talking about the drones that blew up oil tankers in Saudi Arabia. And,
Okay.
and what was said is that the interruption of oil refinery products could make gasoline at the pumps go up as much as 5%. So I
Yeah,
heard that
exactly.
10 or 12 times. Then the next thing I heard is that the gas was going up 20 to 25%. Well, what happened to the 5% increase
Yeah.
that was going to come 2 or 3 months down the road because there is oil in the pipeline right now. So what happened there? Carla, please explain that fuzzy math to me.
It's just like everything else,
I wanna
the cause
explain
and effect. They cause in order to profit from the effect. They cause the murdering and the mayhem of the people in their countries, stealing their resources. I mean, war, that's all it's ever been about, was stealing resources. So these people, these gangster gangsters and these 1% elite are doing everything to kill the people. And that's why they want to keep a recognition on where their sheep and their property is.
Well,
Because
Carla,
that's all we are to them is sheep and cattle.
and I believe that. Carla, thank you so very much for
Okay, no,
answering my
no.
question, okay?
Okay.
All right,
Maureen,
Marion, you go ahead and comment. Thank you,
I
Carla.
wanted to comment, and I think she was really good on that. This is another way that we have this slow death circling around us, and you noticed Mr. Orange Hair himself. And came first. He said he was what locked and loaded and all that stuff. Now he's talking about. I haven't heard them say nothing, and that type of stuff. People, don't you understand the type of people we have running the government? It's not for your benefits. It's for Wall Street benefits.
Corporations, yeah.
That's all they're thinking about. And so you better stop giving all these excuses why you cannot get out here and help us to be able to go up against these suckers that's killing us every day.
Well, we got something we have to do in 2020 in November.
Oh, yes.
And folks already, I don't know, I may not vote, it don't
I
matter.
don't wanna
Yeah,
do-
I feel that way a lot of times too, but there are times that you have to step out of your comfort zone.
And it
you
ain't gonna
got
be
go.
too many more months.
And with that, I'm going to say something about this rainy day fund, but let me just bring this up. When I visited a number of people the other day,
Yeah.
and got a chance to see our buddy Judge Keith. I was so glad to see him.
He's missing.
And yeah, we miss him a lot. I went down to the ombudsman office, and Uncle Bruce was walking in just as I was sitting there talking, and we met with. I went to Rashida Tlaib's office, and ended up the last place I went was to HUD, Marion.
I got something to
And
say about
the HUD director was not there, but his administrative assistant, Miss Shaughnessy, was there. And that's when I heard her say, and I'm down there to complain, we can't find affordable housing, and I can't get anybody on the phone to help me with this, and I've got some families that might need some help in that area. And it was by the time I got to HUD, and I'd been to 7 or 8 places, and it was her. I was tired, and she woke me right up.
Now,
She's the administrative assistant to the district manager for HUD.
for this region.
For this district. So we talking Chicago, Detroit, all in here. And what she said was, I told her the trouble I was having. So she went away. She came back with a list of about maybe 300 or 400 houses, and not houses, but well, I guess some were houses, apartment buildings, townhouses. And she came back with a list, and she told me anybody that may be looking for some subsidized housing and whatnot should go through this list. 400 names, addresses on there, and that there might be a few vacancies, but it really didn't matter because that list was going to be phased out starting in 2021. I said, what are you talking about? She said, well, you know, the affordable housing is not going to be our forte. We're not going to be able to provide that. These houses that are on this list, we're going to sell them to developers and to private people, and that money's going to come back into HUD. So I was so stunned at the conversation. And the only thing I could think of, the reason she was saying that to me, Marion, and she didn't blink her eyes or nothing. She didn't take me all the way to the office. They've got a little vestibule right there by the front door. And that's as far as I was able to go. But what she was telling me is that in 2021, and caller, we coming to you in just a second. In 2021, when Republicans are still in office. See, that's what she was saying. Republicans are still in office. They're going to continue to roll out the Ben Carson plan of reducing subsidized housing, reducing Section 8 certificates, reducing options and opportunities to house low-income people. And that the new definition of affordable housing is between $1,000 and $1,400 a month. So,
And that's gonna constantly rise.
you know, well, if it don't make no difference if it stay right there. I don't know nobody that can
They-
afford that. Nobody can. You know, caller, sorry to keep you waiting so long. You're on the air, caller. Thank you for waiting.
Hello?
Caller, you there? One more time, caller, you on the air? All right. So I heard that, and you know, it goes along with this a whole argument about the roads. And the governor said, you know, we got to fix the damn roads, and I'm for that. And now we got this big argument. There's a big debate. We've been through this before. And the Republican House won't do this. The Democratic House won't do that. And,
Playing with our lives.
you know,
That's what it is.
Well, yeah, and what they always say is that Democrats always say we always gonna lose because there's more Republicans than Democrats. But you know, I mean, that argument can only last for about 20
Well,
minutes.
Maureen, answer this question.
20 minutes.
Uh, when I went to the conference last week, you know, with the folks in the same building with us, the Tenants Association. And
Yeah.
let me say again, I keep thinking about that and the information that they gave. I have to get that information first. But one of the striking things that came out as the gentleman from Chicago began to tell us is that, yeah, you're under the thinking, your mind is thinking that we'll always have Section 8 housing and low-income housing, housing for the poor and stuff. No, they are phasing all that out. As long as and you're going to look up one morning, your whole row, if you live in public housing or what have you, your stuff is going to be set out.
Yeah, market
You
rate.
know, market rate is what they're going after. But the thing is people think, well, we can't do nothing. Oh, yes, we can. We wouldn't have got what we had as far as the programs we used to enjoy.
All these things
And
we got.
We fought for
It's
them,
because
not
we fought for
just
them.
us.
All of it.
It was a lot of us out here, and we need to fight for this also.
Okay, now, Marion, there's something called a rainy day fund.
Oh, yeah.
And I hear about this doggone rainy day fund all the time, so I looked this
Every
thing
year.
up today. And the rainy day fund, as of September of last year, had a balance of $1 billion. That's billion with a B. It had a balance of $1 billion in it. And, you know, by now, that was a year ago, this September
more
again.
now.
So it's more in it now. Caller, we're going to take your call right quick. You're on the air.
Hello?
Caller, you there?
Hello.
Yes, you're on the air.
Hi. This is Gracie.
Hey, Gracie, you're on the air, dear. You got about 2 minutes. Hurry up.
Okay, I just want to tell people about an event that's happening in Highland Park.
Go right ahead and speak a little louder. Go ahead.
All righty.
Turn it
What
to-
we're doing in Highland Park tomorrow is
Okay, have you got your radio or TV on?
hello.
Do you have your radio or your TV?
About an event that's happening in
Gracie, Gracie, we need
Turn the volume down
turn
on your
down
computer.
yeah, turn your
Okay, the
TV and
citizen
stuff
for the
down.
state of Highland Park. Okay, citizens for the state of Highland Park. What we're doing tomorrow is having a barbecue. What we did was circulate a petition.
Have you got your radio or TV on?
Oh, I got my computer on. Should I turn it on?
Turn
Turn
it down.
down the volume. And she turned it all off.
Yeah.
So we'll wait for her to call us back. Okay.
That's pretty good, Gracie.
Alrighty. Gracie, call us back, and the
Make your
volume on
announcement.
your computer is what has to be turned down. So just call us back. You got a minute or so. All right. So, Marion, here's what the state rep has said.
Who is the state rep?
State Rep Sherry. All right, experts in business and community leaders and politicians on all sides agreed that Michigan needs to invest 2.5 billion with a B, billion or more a year for the next 2 decades. Let me stop right there. 2.5 billion for the next 20 years in order to get these roads fixed the way they should be fixed. Miss Gracie, is that you?
Yeah, can you
Oh, you sound
Okay,
good.
now we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, what I was calling was to tell you about an event that's happening in Highland Park.
Please.
We're having a barbecue to celebrate the fact that over 600 people in Highland Park signed a petition to say we want clean energy in Highland Park, and we want to try to see if we can disconnect from the grid.
Okay.
And so we're having a barbecue at 21 Highland.
21 Highland. Now,
21 Island.
21 Highland. Now, what building is that?
That's it's a house, right? It's on the grounds of a house.
Okay,
Next
and
to
it
a
is.
church.
So that's between Woodward and John R. Or going the
between
other way?
Woodward and Second
And Second. Okay.
Okay.
So 21. And what's the street again?
Highland.
21 Highland between Woodward and Second. At what time?
3 to 10 o'clock.
3 to 6 o'clock.
3 to
No,
6.
3 to 10 o'clock.
3 to 10.
Gracie, can
Yeah.
you stay out that long?
No, I don't know if I'll be out that long.
3 to 10. Now,
Be out that long.
people should bring a potluck or bring a dish or bring some money or what?
We're gonna treat people. We're gonna provide the refreshments because it's the food because we're so proud of citizens in Highland Park who are stepping up saying we are tired of these utility companies just ripping us off.
Okay.
We're tired. We're tired of these shutoffs. We're tired of these light bills going up, and we're tired of the fact that DTE is not taking care of Highland Park. We got utility poles falling down. I mean, it's a mess.
Okay. Let me get this straight. Tomorrow, and that's Saturday, from 3 until 10. The address is 21,
Saturday.
2 numbers, 21 Highland Street, and that's between Woodward and Second. And folks do not have to bring a meal, but why don't people at least bring $1 and put $1
hey, I
in
think
people's
that's a good
hands to
idea.
try to help out with the food that will be furnished? Did we get it right?
Okay, that's good.
I'll
The only thing that they
I'll
have to
give
pay
you-
for
I'll
is
give-
the
we'll
fact
give you $1
that
when we
drink.
get
They're
there,
gonna have
Gracie.
to pay for their own drink, but hey, a donation is fine.
Oh, thank you very much, Miss Gracie. Some of us will see you tomorrow.
Okay.
And thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
And thanks for taking my call.
All right, dear.
Uh-huh.
Bye-bye.
All right. We're down to our last 1 minute, and I just want to finish this point. All right, $2.5 billion over the next 20 years. All right, if you divide that out, that means there's more than enough money in that rainy day fund. 20 divided into this figure is more than enough money in the rainy day fund. I don't understand why we can't use the rainy day fund, which is supposed to be set aside. It's $1 billion in there.
supposed to
How
be
come
set-
we can't use $250,000, $60,000, $70,000 of that right now and fix these roads. And then next year, bring some more money together. And the next year, bring some more money
Look like
together.
they,
Why can't we do
why-
that?
look like they still sitting on that rainy day fund to be able to help the corporations,
I don't know what
Marie,
they do,
because we
you know?
ain't seeing nothing in the state.
And it look like it's raining to me. Marion, you got 30 seconds to say goodnight.
This went a little too fast tonight. And we hope that people show up tomorrow on Highland to
3 o'clock.
we need to have some more debates around this whole question of solar energy. I was great that Gracie got me out to talk, but I still got some questions and what have you. And I'll say it, I have a lot of confidence in Gracie as to what's going on, as to that, because she's not going to take you down a bad street.
More investigation.
More investigation we need here in Highland Park, because I'm sick of every last one of these corporative fools out here.
All right, we are at the end of our time here today. We've shared as much information with you as we can. Please contact Welfare Rights if it's some information that we shared and you didn't get it. Programs are very plentiful down here at WHPR, so we have to do everything we can to keep this radio station moving. If this one falls, this will be the last black station in the area. We're talking about Hamtramck, Highland Park, and Detroit. So we don't want that to happen. So we have to do battle with Comcast. We're going to have to do battle with a lot of folks to make certain that the airwaves
Get your
are
tennis
kept
out.
and made available to us. So, Lord willing, the creek don't rise.
Tell 'em
We
get the
will be
tennis
here.
out.
The tennis shoes. Lord willing, the creek don't rise. We will be back here next Friday. In the meanwhile, put them cigarettes down, you SUV drivers. Slow down. There are bumpers all over the service drives. And Navarre, I hope you've been to my house already and checked things out. Bye.
Good night.